Meg, she should say less.
No, nobody cares what Meg.
No, nobody cares. No.
Family Guy is now a live-action movie.
God, oh no, oh my God, oh God, oh no, not.
I'm kidding. That would be horrifying.
Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Just imagine the MPAA trying to decipher Peter's chin.
Guy whose chin looks like a balls.
So today, let's pretend that Hollywood did greenlight Family Guy for the live-action treatment. Here's how it might go.
Interesting.
Some fans are all about casting someone unexpected, while others just refuse to believe in the immense creative potential of this cash grab. Deavertoons 266 starts off strong with Kevin James as Peter Griffin and Rachel McAdams as Lois Lane? And Chris Pratt as Meg. Look, I know you're joshing with me, but The Rock as Joe Swanson would legitimately be hilarious. Paul Walter Hauser is a less famous name than Kevin James, but he could make for an appropriately schlubby Peter Griffin. That talent could see him perfecting his comedy chops, which have been previously seen in Cobra Kai and Queen Pins. He's also well regarded for his ability to play dumb characters, something extremely necessary in portraying the titular Family Guy. Of course, as one user suggests, you could always get real-life Peter Griffin to play the character. This is a segue. So, welcome to ScreenRant.
Mike, this is about us.
Oh, Peter.
Well, let's just dig right in, I guess. You have 3 chaotic children. What's that like?
Meg, she should say less.
No, nobody cares what Meg.
No, nobody cares. No, she was our first mistake. And then Chris was cute. And then and Stewie, we're just trying to decide, try to figure out if he's going to grow up to be like an evil scientist or maybe a Broadway performer. But
We haven't decided whether we understand what he says or not.
no.
There are times when we do and times when we don't.
Okay. For Lois, Karen Gillan could be just the right redhead for the role, and not just because I was pulling names out of a hat, you silly goose.
Oh, crap, Canadian goose!
Look out, eh?
Her time as a companion on Doctor Who has given her plenty of experience dealing with grown men who act like children.
She's an amazing person, a real person.
There's also something to be said about Natasha Lyonne in the role. She's got the perfect voice and has incredible comedic timing.
Boy, I liked her better when she was more predictable.
For Brian and Stewie, let's just make them full CGI monstrosities voiced by Seth MacFarlane. Think of it kind of like those scenes in Son of the Mask with the baby and the dog. Yeah, that seems like the most audience-pleasing route to take. There's a reason I'm not an executive.
You don't say.
Now, Meg might be a tough one, but I say just H down Mila Kunis. And, have all the characters pretend that she's kind of gross and unworthy of living without constant reminders of her failings as a human being.
Everybody spit on Meg!
Stop! You got Stop! Okay.
She's a capable actor. She'll make it work.
Okay, moving on.
Then there's Chris. Jacob Wysocki seems like a shoo-in for that character. Not only does he already bear a striking resemblance to him, but if you're a comedy fan, you might know him from his appearances on dropout shows like Very Important People and Dimension 20.
Short fight!
As for the supporting cast, well, obviously Joe Swanson would be portrayed by his voice actor, Patrick Warburton. Duh. If that's unfeasible and The Rock isn't available, then screw it. Jason Statham. He can also double for Ernie the Giant Chicken during that inevitable clash of titans. Quagmire could be played by Charlie Day, while Cleveland would be Donald Glover. You might think I'm just tossing out random names in the hopes that you weren't paying attention, and you'd be right.
Not funny.
So, how would the plot work for this live-action adaptation?
So what's the plot?
Family Guy relies heavily on absurd visual humor and meta-commentary.
That's how we'll win the Emmy.
Could it land the same way with actual people in the roles? With the right plot? Just maybe.
Oh, is that it?
As with The Simpsons, one smart route would be to mix live action and animation, and simply keep Peter Griffin and his family in cartoon form while mixing them in with the real world, a la that short-lived, underrated show Son of Zorn. Or, Who Framed Roger Rabbit if you don't want to be a hipster like me. Either way, a mix of styles could do the trick. But then, what would be the plot? I think the simplest course of action, and perhaps the most unique, is to not even call attention to it.
Not even looking. I'm swiping yes.
At least not until the very end of the film, wherein it will be revealed to have all been Pam Ewing's dream.
I dreamt I saw the strangest episode of Family Guy, and there was a giant chicken, and Stewie was an octopus.
In the meantime, take up as much screen real estate as possible with every conceivable celebrity cameo that the Hollywood machine can muster.
Perverted Hollywood directors.
Just toss them at the screen. Bring in James Woods and an AI Conway Twitty and get crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
But then there's the in-universe plot hook that might just be crazy enough to work. The Brian and Stewie-centric Road to the Multiverse features Brian and Stewie being sent to a universe that's just real life. This same plot device could be used to send the entire family into the real world, forcing them to find a way out when Stewie's invention inevitably fails.
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
This could work with either cartoon versions of the characters or with live actors in the roles.
Whatever.
It could also lead to some great cameos. Specifically, Dwayne Johnson as Joe. I'm still caught up in that visual. Dwayne Johnson as Joe. It's just terrible enough to work. There are, of course, key differences between live action and animation, as you've no doubt already informed me in the comments.
Oh, I'm gonna comment that.
One of those differences is that it's much cheaper to create some of the more outrageous physical gags through animation than it is in live action.
All right, fine, it was about the money.
Stewie's antics specifically come to mind, but even something like Peter fighting a giant chicken could wind up costing millions of dollars to recreate in the real world. So, could a live-action adaptation succeed in replicating sequences as bonkers as Prom Night Dumpster Baby or the Stewie battling Penelope sequence? I don't know. There's also the question of whether the cutaway gag structure would work for a live-action Family Guy. My immediate response is to point out all the great YouTubers doing excellent sketch-based comedy like Chris and Jack, whose work could be considered reminiscent of some of Family Guy's comedy, which often works in a world of what-if scenarios. Last time I brought you the totally worthwhile and in no way time-wasting question of what it would look like if The Simpsons were live-action. You had a few pretty good responses, including a couple of folks casting me as Moe, Smithers, or Duffman, which, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a terrible Duffman.
Duff never says no.
A few of you even suggested going the Son of Zorn route and having The Simpsons transported to the real world. Also, a few of you really hate Ryan Johnson, so my apologies for triggering you or whatever. My personal favorite was Blade Scavenger, who said, "It's called Married with Children." And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That is just what the live-action Simpsons would be, Married with Children.
Is that it?
Anyway, here's the billion-trillion-dollar question. Could a live-action Family Guy actually work? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And thanks for watching Screen Rant. Bye now. My light immediately died as soon as I said that. Whatever. My lighting works as well as a live-action Family Guy would.